you on a CD.
So don't get distracted, okay, John? Can I borrow this, or is this the only one you have? Or?
No,
It's the only one I brought.
I asked
You
if
got
we
one?
had it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we want to make sure we see you, Juan and John.
Yeah, we are ready.
We are live on YouTube and live on Facebook and live on streaming WLTH 1370, WLTH.com. We're going to have some announcements first.
Go for it.
All right. Welcome. Buenas tardes. Are we on? Awesome. Buenas tardes. WLTH AM 1370 y 92.7 FM aquí en nuestra comunidad norestiniana radicando en vivo. Feliz viernes. Feliz viernes. Good afternoon and happy Friday to you all. This is, of course, Nuestra Comunidad NWI, and I just feel like paparazzi's around me right now. I just hear,
I don't know about that.
Strike and say cheese. No. The views expressed by the host and the callers of this show are not necessarily the views of WLTH Radio management, owners, and sponsors, and advertisers. Well, it's a little bit after the hour, and we're excited. We're excited. I'm excited. People say, what are you so excited about? Life. That's what I'm not excited about. Life. You having trouble over there, Juanito? Buenas tardes, Juanito. ¿Cómo estás?
I am very good. It's Friday. And you know what Friday is right now? It's St. Pat's, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to go get some enchiladas.
Fish fry Friday today.
I'm coming over there.
I want to get some enchiladas. I don't know about the fish, Juan. I've been wanting some enchiladas. They got enchiladas?
They got enchiladas.
Oh, okay, well, talk to us about that.
Well, you know what, ladies and gentlemen? Last Friday was the first Friday. Today is the second Friday. At St. Pat's, 3802 Grand Boulevard in our church hall. Fish fry. Nothing is more than $11. There's also a kids menu, but the salad bar, what do we call it? The buffet up front is for dine-in only. If you haven't been to our fish fry, please do come out. It's every Friday for the next 3 Fridays, 4 to 7, 3802 Grand Boulevard in the church hall at St. Patrick's Church. There's always a weekly 50-50 raffle, and then on the last day of the fish fry, we will be raffling off a big screen TV.
Ooh, how much are the raffle tickets?
There's different prices.
But for the TV?
Oh, well.
Last year you got it. I want to get it this year.
My
that was for another thing. Oh,
my coworker.
Your coworker, but you won one, right?
No, that was a different event.
That was a different event. Oh, so many events. Oh my gosh.
So
we need, you know what? We need a special fund, Juan. It's just for sponsorship or for fundraising, because we have how many events to go to? I can't go to all of them.
I know.
That's a lot of money. Yeah, that's why I said we need to have a special fund. So we do accept donations. Nuestra Comunidad, make check payable to Nuestra Comunidad NWI. I'm dead serious about it. Juanita, am I serious about it?
I'm serious about it.
That's right. I'm serious about it. John, are you serious? Am I serious?
Yeah, I'm serious.
So you guys heard that. We accept donations. What else you got there, Juanito?
If you ever graduated from Washington High School, the class of 1976, of which I am a part of, along with, we're inviting all the other alums from Washington High School to our next high school reunion on Thursday, July the 25th, the 26th, and the 27th. All 3 days. Can you imagine a total of just $175? Quickly, go to ECW class of 1976, 43rd class reunion. That is our Facebook. Go to ECW class of 1976, 43rd class reunion. That is our Facebook. There is a big event coming up Saturday, March the 30th from 9 a.m. at the Gary Library, room D, 220 West 5th Avenue, North Lake County Partnership of Community and Academic Leaders to address pollution and public health. Breakfast will be served in an effort to support sustainability. Please bring BYOM, bring your own mug.
Oh, not beer, but mug. What kind of mug? Beer mug?
No, proper water mug, I guess.
You sure? You better make sure, because, you know, it could be beer mug.
So please RSVP to Dr. Helen Wright at HWRIGHT at HDWCONSULTING. And then that pretty much is it.
Okay. Well, we want to thank Araceli Corona as well from Brilliance Insurance Group. That's right. And so we have her as one of our clients, and we thank her. And this is what she has to say.
Sus opciones y elegir un plan que mejor cubra sus necesidades médicas. Llámenme. Soy Araceli Corona. un agente de seguros sirviendo Illinois, Indiana. Háblenme al 773-968-6619 o 219-801-1276. Puedo ayudarle a contestar sus preguntas y explorar sus opciones en Medicare. Si tiene Medicare y quiere cambiar su plan médico hoy, usted puede calificar. Soy una agente licenciada y certificada y espero su llamada. Araceli Corona no está conectada con el programa federal de Medicare.
All right, we thank Araceli. Thank you so much, Araceli. Juan, if you're looking for a pen, there's one over here. Oh, okay. Well, be aware of your surroundings, as I always say. Anyway, what else you got over there, Juan?
That's it. Well, that's it, pretty much. I'm done.
Really? Oh, wow. Okay. We have a pair of tickets to give away to watch and to go and get inspired and get touched to see Jesus of Nazareth play. Our premiere starts the 30th at 1 o'clock. That's this coming Saturday from a week from tomorrow. So you can call in and get a free pair of tickets to go see it. It's on until Easter. So it's every Saturday, midday, about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And believe me, you'll be touched. If you have not gone, John, to see that play, I encourage you to go see it. It really touches a person. They walk in one way and walk out totally a different way. A way of feeling, way of thinking, and Juan has seen this play, and correct me if I'm wrong. This play, is it not like worth more than what we charge for these tickets?
The productions, not just the play you're talking about right now, are totally incredible and worth a lot more than what the ticket prices
That's right.
are in comparison to the Chicagoland market.
Now, if you were to bring that play in Chicago, what do you think it should be the ticket price?
Chicago's a lot more expensive. So,
right.
And what
but
is it
be
like
over
$15 or $20 or something?
$20 or $25, depending on where you're sitting at.
Yeah.
But the quicker you get your tickets at JesusofNazareth.org, the better seating you can get. But believe me, this show is magnificent. The cast, shout out to the cast, from those that are in the hair, makeup, wigs, the animals, the backstage, the lighting, the props. I mean, we're talking a full 400, 500, 600 people production, because just the cast alone is over 200 people. Oh yeah, and we have the camels, real camels. Yes, we do, and real horses and real, the chickens, the goats. We have all real animals coming to this production, so don't miss it. For a pair of tickets, call in now, 219-885-1371. Estamos regalando un par de boletos ahora para que vayan a ver la obra de Jesús de Nazaret. Por favor de llamar a 219-885-1371 ahora para que se ganen un par de boletos. Créame que esta obra es fenomenal, que llegan y se cae la boca, se les queda la boca abierta, como ven que es tan hecho profesionalmente. ¿Sí?
Sí.
Sí. And so we have a candidate that's coming up in just a few minutes today, as we've completely, all the time when it comes to elections, we're always promoting our airtime that we offer to all the candidates. If you don't want to take advantage, that's on you. I think that's your loss, because we're not only here on the radio, but we're out there. To me, I'll speak for myself, and Juan can say it for himself as well. We're grassroots. We're out there on the pavement as well, doing what we're supposed to do. I, as an advocate and as a mentor and as some would call it a community activist, I call her just a community leader, activist, if you will, if you want to call it that. But I'm out there on the forefront, fighting for you as well, being that voice to advocate for your kids, for the family, for Latina, la comunidad latina, la comunidad que no tiene voz. Aquí estoy yo para defenderlos y que tengo una voz que no me pueden callar. Lo digo en buena onda, lo digo con mucha verdad, que lo hago no por mí, sino por ayudar a nuestra comunidad. Así es que si no aprovechan de este radio, de este programa, esta plataforma, es pérdida para ustedes, los que están corriendo como candidatos, ya sea cualquier carrera que estén tomando ahora. Y pues felicidades a todos los que están corriendo. Congratulations for everyone that's actually running for a seat, right, Juan? What do you have to say? Because we're going to bring him up in just a few minutes.
Well, let me just say this real quickly. Northwest Indiana is dwarfed by the Chicagoland media. And of course, as it relates to the Chicagoland media and elections, is Brett Winkle against Lori Lightfoot.
That's an interesting race right there.
But you know what? There's elections all over. And then, of course, we have our elections in Lake County and throughout the state of Indiana coming up on May on May the 7th. So
Correct.
we are, as I think Eva already mentioned, inviting, and we thank you for choosing to advertise your candidacy
Absolutely.
on Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana, and not just one time, as maybe you might have mentioned just a bit earlier, maybe a second time before the election is done with already. So we're open to anybody and everybody as it relates to candidates. We have our forum here, both in English and in Spanish, in inglés y en español.
Right. And for those of you that are watching on Facebook, we thank you for joining us. Shout out to all of you. The only way I can see who's typing and sending us a message, I'd have to do it through my phone to see it. We're on Nuestra Comunidad's page. So if you don't see me in the screen, I'm going to look to see what they have to say, or I just look on my phone. But we thank Araceli Corona as well for being one of our clients here and advertising her business. We open it up to everybody, en inglés y en español. El que quiera anunciar su negocio, vengan aquí con nosotros. You know how to reach us, right? Yes. You okay? Juanito, you just threw me off. You stuck your tongue out or something.
Stuff's been happening, but that's a different story.
Oh, but you know what? Stuff happens all the time. It's how you react to it is what makes a difference. Well, without further ado, we have a candidate that's running somewhere nearby here. And, you know, my title or my comment was when I was promoting his picture, and of course, this is paid for by the committee to elect John Aguilera for East Chicago mayor. I said, could he be the next East Chicago mayor? Yeah. Welcome, John. Thank you for coming on our show.
I appreciate it very much. Gracias por todo. I am very excited about the opportunities, and I think that it's going to be a spirited debate and a spirited campaign.
There you go. That's right. Juan, what do you have to say?
Well, John, first of all, like I said, thank you for advertising your candidacy on our program. Tell us a little bit before we even talk about the main part of your campaign about your family, your education, for example.
Okay, I'd love to. Well, I'm tres generations that are from León, Guanajuato on my father's side.
Hey, viva Guanajuato! Yes. You know, I'm from Guanajuato.
There you go. There you go. And we still spend a lot of time there. We have a lot of family there. And my mother, on my mother's side, I'm Irish and English. So I'm Mexican on my father's side. I'm Irish, English, primarily on my mother's side. And we have been here for 100 years. Wow. We've been here for a century. And there's 5 generations now. My grandmother was one of the first Mexican restaurants in the harbor called Boca Negra. And I grew up on the East Chicago side of town, and was fortunate that I was a pretty good athlete. Was a all-state middle linebacker. Went to school on full scholarship at University of Indianapolis.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And took advantage of it. And have a couple degrees from. I have a management degree and I have a computer information systems.
Sure.
So I had a career at ArcelorMittal as a manager in a data center. I actually built a disaster recovery site and retired from there. I have been president and CEO of the Indiana Latino Institute in Indianapolis. I have my own company and I do government affairs work. And what I do there is I basically advocate for my clients. I have the public employee unions, AFSCME, which is a union that is basically covering many employees. It could be municipal employees, it could be school employees, and I have been an advocate for my entire career. I left the legislature in 2007 on my own. I had served 4 terms. I had been a county councilman before that for a couple terms, and decided to go back into the private sector, which is where I really have spent most of my adult career. I had the honor to serve as a state legislator, and I ran last year, in fact, as the state treasurer candidate for the party, the Democratic Party, and I had, believe it or not, 1 million votes in the state of Indiana.
Wow.
One of the highest vote totals in the state of Indiana. We did not win because it's a red state, but I raised probably 1/5 of the money that the primary candidate had raised, and and still led the ticket for all the statewide candidates. So, being from East Chicago and wanting to give back to my community, I decided that I needed to put my best foot forward. I had talked to a number of other individuals about potentially running. I don't have any problems with the current mayor in the sense of that he's a decent person, and he's done some reasonable things in terms of infrastructure, but it's time to take it to the next level. It's time to take it to the next level to allow that community to open back up. At one time there was 54 different nationalities in that community.
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah.
54. That was the melting pot of the United States, and it should be. That's the heart and soul of that community, and it has been lost. We have still problems with crime. We have subpar schools that are underperforming, and he's had 2.5 terms already. If you can't do it in that time frame, it's time to move on. It's not, thank you for what you have done. It's time to move to the next level.
Mm.
We're coming from the private sector and we're saying we can do this stuff. We don't need a patronage army anymore. We don't need patronage to be the way we do things and be authoritarian. We need to raise people up. We need to give them opportunity. They need to see that there's a chance in that job that they can raise a family. And that's the stuff that has been lost in the community. We have a lot of great assets in that community. What we have lost is a sense of our heart and soul. We basically pulled back from everyone else, and I mean, I hate to say it, but if you go to our events, there are not a diverse crowd like there is going to Whiting or to Hammond to their events. Why? First of all, they're afraid to come in our community still, and if you're not inviting, they're not going to come.
Mm.
Okay, and we need to become a more stable community. We can't have we can't be set up to be transient. We
Okay,
cannot.
so let me put you on hold for a second real quickly, because you just said a lot
Yeah.
within the time we just gave you right now. That
sure,
first few
We
questions
learned a
right now.
lot more
So-
about
How you like that?
John.
So-
I like
You
that.
think
I like them
I'm
apples.
focused and ready
Okay,
to do this?
so-
I'm telling you.
If you had to, in 1 or 2 sentences,
Mhm.
condense what you just said, how would that translate into your priority issue, which it sounds like this is your priority issue, which you might have mentioned a few more than one issue there.
Oh, there's
What
a
would
bunch of
be
them.
your priority issue right now that says it is because of this that I am running for mayor of East Chicago? Because I think you said a mouthful right there.
Mhm.
So what would be the ultimate issue that caused John Aguilera to say, you know what, I'm running for mayor? What is
Good
that?
question. That's good.
Being an open and inviting community, having an open door,
Mhm.
so that there's a sense of we and not me
Okay,
is the primary focus.
yes.
We need to become a bedroom community again. We need to have that community with opportunities that have people want to come and stay there and not be afraid to send children to those schools, and to have public safety that is on par with any in the state of Indiana. We have the assets here. It's how it gets utilized. And when you disrespect your employees and when you have different sets of rules for people, this is what happens. You see, it's 50 years now, 50 years that there has been a bring them up through the ranks of the city administration in order to be the mayor. Why does that have to be? It doesn't have to be that way. The city of Hammond didn't do that. The city of Whiting didn't do that. You don't have to be coming up through the ranks in order to have and to be able to give. There are a lot of people in that community who are capable, but he's got a closed door policy which says, if I don't like you or if I don't want to deal with you, even if you're from East Chicago, I'm not going to deal with you. And that's what he has done. He has made it there. I can't begin to tell you how many people tell me that they can't get a meeting with him. Why? Why? Because you only want to deal with the people you want to deal with. When you're a mayor, you deal with everybody. And that is a problem, because go ahead.
Let me ask you this then. From what you just mentioned right now,
Mhm.
what is one of your possible solutions to deal with some of the many issues that you just brought up right now? How would you deal with, let's say, the biggest issue that you see right now? How would you help to solve that issue?
Well,
that would be part of, I'm sure, your
okay,
agenda.
there's two different philosophies here. Okay. You want to be a leader or you want to be a boss? If you want to be a boss, you keep doing the same things you're doing, and you keep I'm telling everybody that I'm the boss. And if you don't like it, there's the door. Or you can be a leader and you can get in front and you can lead the plan. You can lead by the way you do things. You can lead, which is what we need. We need a leader. We need to go to the next step. Bricks and mortar does not make a community. Heart and soul make a community. There's a sense in that community that because he has, I'm sorry,
It's okay.
because he has done some bricks and mortar and put in place plans that were already there from other administrations and some of his own. Okay, I'm not talking about that. There's more to a community than just that. And because there was troubles before, doesn't make it so that you have done anything but what you're supposed to do. Now, what are you doing to solve our community's problems? That's where he's missing. That is where when all you have ever seen is a patronage system, that's where you come from. That's all you know.
Let's back the track a little bit. You had earlier talked about some of the background in terms of some of the things that you have done in your past, in terms of some of these different companies or organizations and so forth that you said you've been an advocate for.
Yes, sir.
For fighting, I'm sure, for different issues on behalf of the different agencies or organizations and so forth. So how does that help you in the things that you're talking about right now to deal with the issues that you said are happening right now under the current administration?
It's been my life's work. It's what I have done from the very start. Okay, I was very active in my youth, and involved in a number of organizations. I have continued that as I've worked in Washington, D.C., as I've worked in Indianapolis, and as I've worked over here. You know, whether it be the Boys and Girls Clubs, or it be the Indiana Latino Institute, or it be the National Hispanic Caucus of State Legislators, which I was the vice president, which was a national organization when I was a state legislator that basically helped state legislators who are Latino to see best practices, to see what other communities could do. You know what? I have seen it. I've seen it in other states and other communities. We have the assets. How many communities would die to have two multinational companies, BP and ArcelorMittal, and a casino and a lakefront with a fresh body of water? And this is the best we can do? We have to be, I mean, there is just so much potential on there. You don't get that everywhere. And because it's a fresh body of water, these corporations, you know what? When we're all gone and dead, they may not be named the same, but there's going to be some corporations there because they need that body of water. And we cannot allow them to do as they had done. One of the things that this administration caused their own troubles. When you are thinking about money versus environmental injustice on a community, and you would consider cleaning something up to less than the best standards, that's the wrong mindset. You're thinking about dollars and you're not thinking about people. You know what? Those corporations, they used to be corporations that were homegrown. When Inland Steel was born, it was born right there. That was a family-owned business. Now, these decisions, you know where they go? Both of those companies go to Great Britain. That's where the decisions, and they are assets to our community. But we have to deal on those levels. None of this. Let me shake your hand. We'll take care of this deal. Blah blah blah. No, 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 no. You know, you're in our community. Respect our community. Clean up the damage.
Cleanup. That's, I was just going to go there with the problem that's happening as far as the cleanup with the soil, with the toxic, the lead, the arsenic. What's your solution for that, John? Because we still have elderly people still living in that building that I thought was going to get demolished. I am going to advocate for the elderly. What are you going to do for them and with that issue?
I tell you what, I don't try to profess that I have all the answers, but what I will say is that we could be a lab for environmental justice movements to help us to clean that place up, and trying to work with those corporations that are currently there to make sure that what we do for our community going forward is done, with mutual understanding and isn't done on us,
right.
but done with our understanding. Those are the kind of things that I think could be opportunities. The stuff that I've seen, as I have seen other areas and see how they have art districts, and they utilize that to have the youth want to be attracted to places, stuff like that. I mean, why can't we do that over here? Tell me why we can't do that. I mean, those are the things that will bring people to urban centers. And with our proximity to Chicago, and with one of the frustrating things to me was with that school referendum, because we gave away free money from the corporations, and I'm be the first to tell you I'm not happy with the way the school system has been run. But why would we not take that money and put it to good use? It's not the problem that we don't have the assets over there, and they should rightfully be paying their fair part. But we turned it down because of some political games that were going on. Doesn't make any sense.
Let me go back to something real quickly. How would you? What are your thoughts? And I'll keep it open. What are your thoughts and the mayor did not cause this. The for lack of a better word, right now, the evacuation of all the people in public housing in West Calumet, and what happened since then. So, what can you say in terms of how his administration did in handling that situation?
I look to the community to see how they react, because you're not going to be able to do exactly what everybody wants all the time, and you're going to have people who are going to complain sometimes. But it's really just a matter of trying to be reasonable with people, and trying to be honest with people, and and making them feel like you are trying to get them the accurate information. I mean, no one would want to be put in that situation. I mean, it's just that there is this kind of sense like, I'm the boss, and I'm doing it, and we're going to do it this way. And I mean, nobody's an expert. And if you're not willing to, I say always, when I'm at a table with some people and we're working on stuff, I want the smartest people at the table. I want people to be raised up, and I want people to have a sense of, what, we're in this together. So I'm not looking to try and have this job to run any dynasty. In fact, I've come out and said I'm for term limits for this mayor's office. I think that it has not been beneficial to this community, and you can continue to have the council members elected as long as they can. I'm not even saying that you don't necessarily could not come back and run again for mayor, but you'd have to step away, just like they do for a lot of other offices. So we don't get back into that, because you know what, that is that sense of patronage, and that system is not beneficial for our community. We don't need that. We don't need that.
On that note, John, For those of you that just tuning in, we are Nuestra Comunidad NWI Indiana, WLTH AM 1370 y 92.7. Si tienen alguna pregunta para aquí, nuestro candidato para alcalde de East Chicago, John Aguilera, llamar al 219-885-1371. If you're listening and viewing now through social media, I see that you have questions brought on social media, but you can call in at 219-885-1371. And we are open to questions, right?
Sure.
So Rudy Velasco is asking, any visions for the disabled community? And he asked
Well, I
another question,
mean,
but we'll ask that one first.
that is something I believe in strongly. I mean, both for the private sector and for the public sector, we have to make things as accommodating as possible to make sure that they are allowed to live, a open and free life. That they have opportunities for things. That there's opportunities for jobs. I mean, I know Rudy has been involved in those things for a long time. And my sister is involved in that arena, and so I've been around it all my life, and I listen to the things that that she talks about. So, I mean, I think I would be a strong advocate for those who have disabilities, and for the arts, and for being creative in terms of trying to help kids with mentoring. When I was at Arthur Middle, it ended as Arthur Middle, but there was a Adopt a Student program. It was an ACE program. I ran the program for them. Okay, it basically was mentoring inside of the East Chicago school system. That we would go and we would give an hour a week, and you would pick what the level you wanted to work at, and I myself would participate, and basically would help them to build a resume. We would do on-camera interviews. We would then critique them, because those are some of the same things that I did in my profession. So, and it was a wonderful program. Those are the kind of things we need to continue to do, because both of those industries, and I used to be at Indiana University. I was the workforce development coordinator for labor studies there. So I'm talking to the mills after I had retired. I'm talking to the mills, and I mean, they need an associate degree now to even be considered to come in the door. Okay, so with that being said, I mean, and regretfully, in our community, we have brown and black who have been stigmatized by marijuana, and it hits their record, and then they've got to deal with all the issues of that, and they're set up before they even get a chance to have any opportunities, and they don't get a chance. Well, so I mean, they're out the door before they even get a chance to take the test, they have no chance at these jobs. We can do better than that. We can do better to make it so that they have those opportunities, because when they're in our communities, I mean, we can go to them and say, hey, we need you to be looking inside the community to employ somebody. But if we don't have them qualified, or they can't, pass tests or whatever, I mean, that's an issue.
And we're not preparing them for the future. And on that note, we do have a commercial, so we'll be right back.
Attention Medicare recipients. Are you turning 65, and do you have questions regarding your Medicare coverage? Do you need to explore your options and choose a plan that covers your medical needs? Call me. I am Araceli Corona, a licensed insurance agent serving Illinois and Indiana. 773-968-6619 and 219-801-1276. Call me, and I am glad to answer your questions, help you explore your options and plans. If you are turning 65, have Medicare, you may qualify to select a plan. I am a licensed and certified agent here to help. 773-968-6619 and 219-801-1276. I look forward to your call. Araceli Corona is not connected with the federal Medicare program.
All right, we want to thank Araceli Corona as well for this commercial. Thank you so much. And we have John Aguilera, candidate for East Chicago. Could he be the next East Chicago mayor? He speaks about change. A change is coming. I love that song. And there's a change coming everywhere. I mean, we have a lot of candidates running in Gary as well. That's another ordeal in and of itself. But I hear a lot that you have planned to do a lot that you have done that I was not aware of. So we have a sidebar conversation after the show on some things, because we're adamant about education, and I see that you're part of it already.
Oh, yeah.
But as mayor, you are saying that you're going to get more involved in the education than the current mayor?
Well, I mean, yeah, absolutely. I will be a voice. Not so much in the political aspect of things, but in the holding the administration accountable. Because you know what? I mean, there's no excuse for there not being enough money there. There's enough money if we do our stuff right. And granted that doing this stuff for a living down in the state legislature, and then as a government affairs person, the Republicans have total control down there, and they like to privatize, and and that is taking from a pie that is fixed, and it's taking pieces of that when it goes to private sector entities. Now, you can be for them or against them, but the reality is those kind of things are happening. Well, so you've got competition there for that dollar, and these public employee, the unions and the teachers and the people who are working for it, I mean, they need to be respected. They need to be given opportunity. They need to be, when possible, given the benefits that they deserve. I mean, if we are going to, for instance, with public safety, if we're going to not pay in the top third of communities around here, and you're going to continue to have transitions of people, things like that, how do you expect to have anything better in your community? Those are things to me that, that's not something you want to be on the cheap for, so that you can save a couple bucks when you got $20 million that's sitting in excess, is what they're saying. So I think that there is a different approach that will give people a sense of community and will open that place up to a lot of ingenuity, a lot of of letting the youth have some opportunity over there. I mean, we have some very, very skilled people in that community, and given the opportunity, I mean, this is very frustrating to me when I hear when I hear there was a program that was being discussed when the previous administration was in there, that had this huge development that would have had an indoor soccer field, that would have had a Latino flavor, with malls, with opportunity to have recreation, and it was not something that was small. It was on a grand plan, and this administration just dropped it. I mean, and some of the stuff and some of the reasons that I heard, which I'm not even going to say, is really concerning, that they would not give this consideration, because that's the kind of thing we need. We need to think big. We're on the lakefront. There's not too many bodies of water like that.
Right.
And Mayor McDermott thinks big, and so does our good friend in Whiting, Mayor Stahura. You know what? We in East Chicago need to think big. I'm not there to do small things. I think that community is and I tell people, it's a gold mine. It's a gold mine for people who want to do the right thing and want to turn that community around. If we think small, we're going to be small. If we think transient, we're going to be transient. That's not what I want to see. And I know, because of all the people that I went to school with there and who grew up over there, there is a diverse community who loves that place, would love to see it have an opportunity to come back in our life.
Can I ask you a question as it relates to housing? East Chicago is a small community, size-wise and population-wise and so forth.
Right.
But, different mayors in the past concentrated some more on building more single-family homes to create stability within the community. Other mayors in the past have concentrated more on not building single-family homes, but building more rental facilities and so forth. what is your vision as it relates to the city of East Chicago when it comes to the kind of community you're looking at in terms of housing?
I think that the word is stabilizing. Stabilizing. We need to stabilize the community. So, anything that puts people on top of each other and just doesn't give them opportunity and is done to for financial purposes to a cheaper scale cheapens us. We don't need to do that. If people are low income, fine and dandy, but we can build housing that will give them the respect, that will give them the opportunities, that will take advantage of the lakefront, that will take advantage of the community that we have there. Sure, we've got tributaries that we still are cleaning up, but we need to start working with industry and with the people over there with the sense that we want our share of it back. You don't get the territory that East Chicago is on by coincidence that they just landed there. Now, okay, you've got industry there, and it's now, it's not the thing that drove the economies like it used to be. It certainly is one of the things, but we need to capture the recreation that comes with having that lakefront. We need to capture the ports that come with that lakefront. We need to capture the opportunity to be on there with housing and gated housing that is multi-unit, that is self-sustaining with parking lots and functional stores in there that are on the lakefront in Chicago. Why can't we be? Why can't we be?
There's also a question that I happen to have asked about the education, and you mentioned about holding the school board accountable. What about the city council to their jobs? They want to know what platform you have on holding the city council.
Yeah, I have a frustration right now with that. You're seeing this played out with there are a lot of great candidates for the city council, a lot of them, and there is nothing wrong with some competition. Okay. I'm for competition.
Right.
Anybody who wants to come forward and say I'm anointed, you know what? I mean, that's what we need to get rid of. But there are good people on that council right now, and they're all good people. But you know what? We don't need some followers of a dynasty. We don't. I mean, you know what? We want people to serve.
Right.
We want people to have opportunity, but we're not trying to build a dynasty for any families. Okay. That stuff is gone. It needs to be gone. So what I'm saying is put your best forward and let the chips fall where they may. There's some great competition on almost all of those races. Okay. Hey, I'm doing my thing and they are doing their thing. And I like what I see. I like, that there's I couldn't even begin to tell you what's going to happen with those council at large seats because there's a lot of good candidates there. There's a lot of good candidates. This is a chance for people to listen to how they want to see the vision for the future. Okay. Do you want to change things or do you want to keep going the same way you are and having this community perform subpar, which is what is happening? And you know what? We're not in the same financial position that Gary is in. We are not. And we have two very functional corporations there in a city that's only got 30,000 people. You know what? We should be living a lot better. And I'm talking across the board. This is not about black or brown or white. This is about it being an inviting and diversified community, just like we used to be. This is the melting pot of the United States. East Chicago was considered one of the melting pots. That is our tradition.
I guess so. We got 2 minutes.
2 minutes for John. Yes.
Okay. So, well, I guess unless you got another question, I was going to ask him to talk to
go
them.
ahead.
Okay.
Now,
and then he can give us contact information. So I guess we only got 2 minutes, John. Don't talk to us. Talk to the mic.
Okay.
Talk to the people that live in East Chicago right now that are listening to our program, and talk to anyone that maybe is listening to our program that may have friends or relatives in East Chicago. Talk to them and tell them why you should be the next mayor in East Chicago.
And how to get a hold of you.
Well, first of all, my website, aguileraformayor.com. And I have a team that's working very, very hard to make sure that we are going to get our message out. I am taking this election very, very seriously, as you can see from the conversation that was had. And what I'm asking people to do right now is to keep an open mind. You don't have to jump on board this train yet, but what I am asking you to do is to not listen to all of the noise that is being placed out there to try and make you believe that there is not an election or that things are not as they should be. You know, we right now need to have an open mind to make sure that the people get a chance to hear the vision. And I'm challenging him to debates. And he was last year, all over the place asking Mary Morris Leonard for debates. Well, guess what? It's time to sit up here and it's time to have some discussions about why we do things the way we do. And I want to give a different vision. You can be somebody who wants to be a boss, or you can be somebody who wants to be a leader. And I know that the people of that community know how these elections work and know how they have to act. And so, you know what? I'm not out trying to put pressure on anybody about anything at this point. I'm talking about my vision. I'm talking about what is basically a community that needs to diversify both in the way it is set up and the way we think. And so give me a chance. I'm going to be back here and I'm going to be talking to you. I have my Facebook page, and we are going to continue to tell you what we think needs to occur. I'm going to be meeting on Tuesday with the firemen and policemen and giving a presentation to them and talking about how I would envision their benefits and the way they would be set up going forward. I'm talking to all the city employees. I'm talking to people on the streets. We have a new vision and new leadership coming. Give me the opportunity and keep an open mind, and we're going to be successful. I know it. I know it in my heart and soul. So give us a chance. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much,
Thank you,
John.
John.
That was John Aguilera for East Chicago mayor. Can he be the next mayor? Is up to the community, up to you, the voters. And I highly encourage you to please educate yourself on all the candidates that are running for office from whatever city you reside in. Get yourself educated, but vote.
Absolutely.
Vote. Your vote is your voice. Some of you think, why vote? They're not going to listen. Well, you know what? That's wrong. That's the mentality of some
Especially
people.
in this time frame.
Such a time as this. Crucial.
Yes.
Crucial. Just like Chicago. Some of my Latinos went to sleep. I don't know what happened. You guys didn't go vote. It was the lowest turnout. It's crazy. But then you guys complain about it. So now we got two African-American women running for Chicago mayor. That is an interesting race, right, Juan? Thank you, John, for coming on.
My
Thank you, John. And
my pleasure.
hopefully we'll see.
We'll bring him back. He did say he's coming back.
I
So
will
continue to listen, continue to watch, continue to learn, and continue to grow.
Yeah.
What do you guys over there? What you got over there,
Well, you know
Juanito?
what, Eve, in reference to what we started here on Nuestra Comunidad Northwest Indiana, and that is we've opened up our little radio program to create our own National Hispanic Political Roundtable. Why? Because as I like watching a lot of political talk shows on the English channels. When they have their political roundtables during the programs, pretty much Hispanics are missing from those Hispanic roundtables. And when it comes to being interviewed as guests on these English political talk shows, pretty much Hispanics are missing here and there. In my opinion, who does the best job in terms of Latino representation? CNN. But on that note, it's not confirmed yet, but it looks like this other organization from Washington, D.C. is going to be one of our upcoming guests on our National Hispanic Political Roundtable. And it is the Labor Council for Latin American Advancement out of Washington, D.C. So we just have to work on a date that will work for them. And then they will be one of our upcoming guests for our upcoming shows that have to do with National Political Hispanic Roundtables. And the more organizations that we can get on a national level, or even under a national level, that we can get on our program, the more other organizations that have never heard of us, they'll have an incentive to come on, because we can say this organization on a bigger level have been on our program, and it'll help draw other organizations. So, and there's others that I'm working on behalf of Nuestra Comunidad NWI, Indiana.
And I want to also remind, and I just saw a comment, which is crazy. Thank you, Veronica. Latino women don't vote because their husbands won't let them. Why is that? I don't know if that's the case or not, Veronica. I have not heard of that. But if that is the case, men, step aside, move on over, because your vote is also important. If you don't want to vote, don't stop your spouse from doing it, if that happens to be the case. I don't know. This is the first time I've heard of it. So, we have just a few minutes left. We want to encourage you to vote, 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 vote. Vota. Tu voto es tu voz. Así es que es muy importante que se eduquen, que sepan cada candidato que está corriendo para cualquier carrera que sea para alcalde o cónsul. Pero es importante que se eduquen y sepan quiénes son los candidatos. Conozcan sus motivos. What are their motives? What are their agenda, if they have one? If they're a personal agenda. Juan, as many years as we've seen all these politicians come in and come out, walk in and walk out, some of them do walk in with personal agendas. Am I right?
Right.
Am I right? Am I right? I'm right. Of course I am. So, you know what? It is up to you to put that next person in the seat. It is up to you to put that person in the seat. But also, it is up to you. The Census 2020 is coming up. You'll see people, you'll see mailers coming out to you. Don't ignore them. The Census 2020 is going to start soon. So we are now bringing awareness to you. It is important to be counted. To my undocumented families, if you that's listening or watching know some of those families, let them know that it'll be coming in the mail. You can also now do it and be counted online. You can do it electronically through your smart device. That is awesome. That is a great thing to do. Don't be scared, or as some of the kids say, don't be scared and not be counted. So if you know undocumented families in the region, please let them know to go ahead and be counted for, to count every child that they have. Why? Because we need funding. $675 billion would be spread out. And the way they determine how much, where it goes to where, we need it here, not just downstate in Indianapolis, right, Juan?
Right.
We need it in Northwest Indiana so that we can get more funding for programs, for undocumented, for building, for structure, for everything, for education. We need that. But the only way we can do it is we take accountability and responsibility by saying, let me count myself and my 3, 5, 6, 7 children so that we can also get the funding, data, the numbers. But don't be afraid to tell your undocumented families to do it. Because why? It's illegal and unlawful to share that information with ICE, with Homeland Security, with the government. $270,000 or $250,000 fine and 5-year imprisonment. That's serious, folks. And I'm glad that now I'm taking part of it so that I can tell you, I hold myself accountable. I put my name on the line by bringing this information to you that you might not hear from the Census 2020 committee or the people that are working it and running it and getting paid to do it, but you're hearing it from me, from Eve Gomez. To count yourself, count your families. Let your neighbors know that when they get it, to make sure that they are reminded, and you remind them to do it. To count your families, count every single body, including your babies that was just born. You count them too. We often complain about not enough funding. Well, here we have the opportunity to have a voice right there, right? What do you say about that, Juan?
I agree. Yeah. So it's important.
Very
and
important.
It's coming up.
Yeah. So we're almost at the end of our show. Juan will be back tomorrow. We have a special guest tomorrow, and he can tell you about it in a minute. But I will not be here. I will have to be called in. I have to call in because we also have an important meeting tomorrow with DCFS and SAFE CHR, Safe Coalition for Human Rights. I am the face and the voice for Safe Coalition for Human Rights because sexual trafficking, human trafficking is bigger than you know, and we're bringing awareness to you. Please like our page, Safe Coalition for Human Rights. Like that page, be educated, be aware of your surrounding. It could be your next door neighbor's child. It could be your next door neighbor's wife, girlfriend, whoever. You just never know. So stay tuned for more. We're doing great things in the community. I'm going downstate to make sure I bring some information back this way for our youth, for our education. And that's what I was asking John, I'm sorry. We're going to be talking about the Indiana Latino Institute. What are we doing here in the region, not just downstate, but here in Northwest Indiana for our education, for our Latino students. And immigration is a big issue right now. Purdue has something coming up, but I'll have to share it tomorrow because I have to look up the information. So, Juan, anything you got to say besides before we go get some enchiladas?
Tomorrow, just like we had a paid candidate today promote his candidacy, and we thank John Aguilera again.
Yes.
Tomorrow we have a paid program again with the Northwest Indiana Reinvestment Alliance, of which I've been a part of that organization almost since the beginning, going back to the late 1980s. So we have a powerful show tomorrow because of the 2 days that are going to be happening event next month in April. Also, the Alliance has its 30-year anniversary coming up. So we're going to talk about a lot of things that have to do with the Northwest Indiana Reinvestment Alliance. Once again, a paid program. And we hope to have at least, I've talked to maybe at least 3 other possible candidates that are going to be coming on our program.
And speaking of paid,
yes.
We got one more commercial.
Atención recibidores de Medicare. ¿Tienen preguntas sobre sus coberturas del Medicare? ¿Necesita verificar sus opciones y elegir un plan que mejor cubra sus necesidades médicas? Llámenme. Soy Araceli Corona, un agente de seguros. Háblenme al 773-968-6619. Puedo ayudarle a explorar sus opciones y contestar sus preguntas sobre Medicare. Si tiene Medicare y quiere cambiar su plan médico hoy, usted puede calificar. Soy una agente licenciada y certificada en Illinois, Indiana. 773-968-6619. Araceli Corona no está conectada con el programa federal de Medicare.
All right. Thank you so much, Araceli. And on that note, we're going to get going. I'm getting hungry. How about you, Juan?
Bro.
We'll see you at St. Pat's, guys. Hope to see you there. And then what's the address, real quick? St. Pat's?
3802 Grand Boulevard in the Church Hall.
All right. We'll see you guys. Hasta la próxima. Mañana regresamos a las 10 de la mañana. No se lo pierdan. Si ustedes tienen alguna pregunta para el candidato de hoy, ahí pónganlo en Facebook. Okay. Nos vemos. Thank you, Larry. Appreciate it. All right, and my YouTubers, until next time, thank you for watching. Please place your comments if you like. And for my